afternoon, Para Wesley music lovers. Good to have you joined in for another lunchtime session of Music with Derek. Greetings to Angela and Ivan, who have signed in already and sent us a message there. Today, Derek is going to be doing something a little bit different, so let him explain.
Morning, everyone. Today we're going to do something different. I'll be playing on the church organ, plus my organ at home and my keyboard. I've sent some photos to Jenny so you guys can actually see what our organs at the church looks like and what my organ at home looks like. Thank you. Enjoy the show. Bye.
Thank you, Derek, for that. So now let me see if I can find those pictures. Well, I know I can. I just must get them. This organ here that we have, that is the organ that Derek plays on a Sunday at church. Which I realize as I look at that photo, I've never had a good explore of it myself. I've always got too many other things to do on a Sunday, but sometimes I must have a look at it. I'm afraid I don't know what model it is or what brand name it is. We'll have to get Norman or Fred or Derek or somebody to give us some information. That is the one that we're used to hearing. And then some of you will know that there is an organ upstairs. That is the organ upstairs, not actually a pipe organ, although it's made to look like that. And that organ does still work. I'm not exactly sure of the history of why things moved around, but I'm pretty sure that Derek would not like to sit up at the top there anymore. We're much more family-like, all being down close to each other. Those of you that are new to the church will not know that there used to be a big pulpit, and so the minister could stand up there and wink at the organist and so on. But that is just not the way we do things anymore. And then there is a photo of Derek's organ at home, which is that one. And so he is not playing, as far as I can tell, today from that top organ, but he is going to be playing for us from his organ at home and for the church organ that we sing to on a Sunday. And so let us move to our program for today. I don't know if Derek has done it intentionally, but the first three pieces that he has chosen were all originally poems that were then set to music as hymns. He's chosen a really heartfelt set of hymn songs this afternoon. And so I think we're going to enjoy them and allow God to speak to us, as it is essentially worship music. They may not all be in our Methodist hymn book, but they are all hymns that speak to God, about God. And the first one is O Holy Night, which is a Christmas carol. It's also known as Cantique de Noël. It was written in 1843 when a church in the south of France restored their organ. It used to be the big thing, when your organ started breaking down, you'd have to raise funds to restore the church organ. Well, they did that in 1843. And in celebration of the completion of the project, the parish priest asked Placide Capua, I'm not sure about my pronunciation there, I'm sorry, to write a Christmas poem. He was a poet, and that was his hometown. And so he wrote this poem, which means Midnight Christians in the French. In the same year, a little bit later, the music was written by Adolphe Adam, who also wrote the ballet Giselle and the opera Le Toreador. The original words were in French, but an English translation, the words that we know, was made in 1855. So it's Cantique de Noël, played by Derek on our church organ. And here we go, O Holy Night. Thank you so much for that, Derek. As Derek started playing that, for some reason I could almost hear the choir, especially the men's voices, singing in the background. I guess I'm used to hearing it as a choir piece over Christmas time. Well, I wonder, we might be back in time for a Christmas cantata this year. We will have to wait and see. Greetings to Jenny, Sally, and Malcolm. Good to have you listening with us, and also to Margaret and to Sharon. The next hymn is also, as I said, from a poem. It is I Love to Tell the Story, and this is I think it's the first one, the second hymn that is taken from a long poem on the life of Christ, which was written by Annabel Catherine Hankey in England in 1866. She wrote this poem when she was getting better after a serious illness. And the first part of the poem is called The Story Wanted, is the source of the children's gospel song, Tell Me the Old, Old Story. While the second part, The Story Told, contains the text that we're listening to the tune of today. They printed various versions of it, but ultimately somebody called William Fisher, who's a director of music and a choir conductor for many American revival services, such as those led by Dwight L. Moody. He wrote the tune, which was called Hankey, after Catherine Hankey, and he also wrote the chorus, which obviously is repeated as we go through. So Derek is playing for us now the part from the second part of that poem, I Love to Tell the Story. Thank you so much, Derek, for taking the time to put together interesting arrangements of these pieces of music. It's really great. Yeah, interesting as well as good to listen to. So thank you so much. Greetings to Ruth and Alan, who have logged in there with us as well. Good to have you with us. And of course, greetings to all those who watch later on the recorded program. You are also very welcome. The third piece of music, as I said, is also a poem, but this poem is a poem from the Bible. It is a piece of music that goes with Psalm 23. It's known as the tune Crimond, which we are used to singing the psalm too. This tune was, there's some debate about who actually wrote it, and while the other pieces of music are written by prolific hymn writers, this person we don't know too much about. Jessie Seymour Irvine was the daughter of a parish minister who served in Dunnottar, Peterhead, and Crimond the town. And she apparently wrote this tune. It formed part of the Scottish hymnal and was previously allocated to somebody else, but it came known that she was the one who wrote it. But it doesn't seem that she wrote a large quantity of other music, and we don't know very much about it. It's interesting, the good old Scottish heritage of this hymn, named after the town of Crimond in Aberdeenshire in northeast Scotland. So Derek is playing for us, and this one he is playing on his organ at home, Psalm 23 to the tune Crimond. Thank you, Derek, for sharing that one with us. As many of us are hearing of people being hospitalized with COVID still, and as perhaps we are experiencing people that we know having passed on, we do walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and it's good to be reminded that the Lord is our shepherd through the good times and through the hard times. So thank you, Derek, for that reminder and that beautiful music. And greetings to Norman and Elaine, who say they are warm, which I think is an important thing right now. I do not appreciate this weather whatsoever. Those of you that say you like winter and you like cold, you are welcome to it. But this is just too cold for me. Nope. It must get better soon. Speaking about prolific songwriters, our next piece is written by Fanny J. Crosby. If you remember, we had a piece written by her before. She is the one who has written so many pieces of music, so many hymns, that she resorted to using multiple pseudonyms because publishers were reluctant to put so many hymns by one person in their books. And I found an article on the internet. I didn't count the names, but it was a whole screen full of different names that she used. Frances J. Crosby, the name that I also know her by is Frances Jane van Alstyne. She wrote To God Be the Glory. She wrote Blessed Assurance. But the one that Derek is playing for us today is Draw Me Nearer, my Lord, to Thee. This one Derek is playing on his keyboard at home. wanted to read the words of the first verse in the chorus to you before we listen to it, but I'm going to read it to you now. The words go, I am thine, O Lord. I have heard thy voice, and it told thy love to me. But I long to rise in the arms of faith and be closer drawn to thee. And then the chorus, draw me nearer, nearer, blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me nearer, 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 blessed Lord, to thy precious bleeding side. And indeed, that is our prayer today, that Jesus will draw us closer and closer to him. So thank you once again, Derek, for your beautiful music and your reminder. And we come to our last piece of music, written, All Praise to Our Redeeming Lord is the hymn that it is. Derek is playing the tune Lucius, which was written by George Kingsley, who lived in 1811 to 1884. He was an organist in Boston, Massachusetts, but the words were written by Charles Wesley and has become a favorite Methodist hymn, but apparently fairly limited in use, not much sung outside of the Methodist Church. The words that start, all praise to our redeeming Lord who joins us by his grace. And we're reminded that grace is a particular emphasis of the Methodist Church, that we believe that all people may be saved if they turn to Jesus and believe in him. And so these hymns that are about grace that Charles Wesley wrote are very important to us, but perhaps don't strike the same chord with other Christians. But thank you, Derek. It is a reminder, this hymn of us, that we're a family, that he joins us together, and that the Holy Spirit is the thing that unites us. God's love is what holds us together. So let's listen to Derek playing the tune Lucius, All Praise to Our Redeeming Lord. Thank you so much, Derek. It's cool, the different sounds that you can get out of the keyboard. It really is a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Derek, for sharing your talent with us and for your creativity in doing different things and making it interesting, and for taking the time to select music that we really enjoy listening to. So we appreciate that. We appreciate everybody that's logged in, everybody that listens later. Thank you for joining us, and feel free to listen to it again and again on the recording on YouTube, and have a blessed rest of the day.